Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back. Here we have a lovely example of gender equality from Mark Field. Here we have the climate change protester interrupting after several others did, and he's having none of her shit. It's kind of lucky that pillar's there. Hold, yeah, don't hurt. No, you're not turning around. Let's leave while you're smirking.
I'm probably not allowed to do this.
And yes, this comes after they were interrupted, as shown here. He was advised to
As
stop.
to what the future...
And as you can see, they were removed in a very similar manner.
No, that's fine. Come on, Missy, yeah, come on. This way, please. You made your point.
Yes, so that's it, and
This is the government.
there you go. As you can see, that there was a precedent set by the protesters who were making their point, making themselves very loud and clear in a very obnoxious manner, and they were then asked to leave. They were escorted from the premises. One found their way back in, and Mark Field took her out, as in got her to leave the building, not knocked her out. As is to be expected, that you would do to a guy, as you would do to a girl now, seeing as it's gender equality. It was firm but fair, didn't hurt her, didn't hit her, just grabbed her and frog-munched her out of the building. Fair enough. So, GreenPeace has accused Foreign Officer Minister Mark Field of assault after he pushed a female activist out of black tie city. Well, he led her out. Mr. Field claimed he reacted instinctively and has referred himself to the Cabinet Office for an investigation. How very proper of you. He also apologised to the woman for grabbing her, but said he was worried she may have been armed. I mean that's fair enough, isn't it? That considering the escalation of political violence, you would be worried that these people could be armed and going to cause great disruption, destruction, and despair, depravity within the hall that they were all seated. Obviously, when you have a large gathering of that many people who are of significance, then one person can still cause a lot of mayhem. I don't think it's very likely, and maybe he's just trying to save himself a little bit, because I'd say what he did was definitely firm, but it seemed fair enough. She was smirking anyway, so it's what she wanted. It's not as if she was actually hurt. She wanted there to be a kerfuffle, and for there to be news, and for people like me to be talking about it. So, she got what she wanted. They've obviously been recognised now, because this helps to push their message further. So, Thursday night's incident, filmed by TV news cameras, happened after climate change protesters took up the beginning of Chancellor Philip Hammond's annual Mansion House speech about the state of the UK economy. Dozens of activists dressed in suits were dressed in sashes, gate-crashed the dinner according to GreenPeace, and refused to leave. They were unwelcome and didn't leave. I'm presuming they're dressed in red as a kind of Handmaid's Tale nod. Footage shows Mr. Field getting out of a seat and stopping one female protester by pushing her against a column and marching out of the room. Yep. It's lucky the column is there, because then he can just hold her there to then get up and move her out. He, pushes her back, she turns around, so he follows her and grabs her to make sure that she can't get away. Cedarland Police said it was looking into a number of third-party reports of possible assault. Conservative Chairman Brandon Lewis told ITV's Good Morning Britain that the party would investigate the full details of what happened. Greenpeace campaigner Ariba Hamid told the BBC the activists had been in shock, smirking. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a smirk, obviously. I mean, if you get a load of Native Americans coming up to you and you smirk, then that's fine. Right, guys? Right? On Thursday night, Bell was recovering and had been reassured by the outpouring of support online. I think Mark Field should have a long, hard stare at himself and think whether that behaviour is in keeping with someone in public office. She said, well, yes, if someone else isn't going to help, then you've got to do it yourself. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It was quite ludicrous to suggest the protester might have been armed, Ms. Hamid added. It's I suppose it's mildly reasonable. It's very unlikely, though. I wouldn't go as far as to say ludicrous. I'm not sure where she would have been hiding the weapon. Then again, she did have enough body for something to not be hers. Libby Shadow Women and Equalities Minister. Oh, wow. Women and Equalities Minister. Not just equalities, not human equalities. No. Let's bring the women in. Dawn Butter tweeted, "This is horrific. Mark Field must immediately be suspended or sacked." Why? No one who acts like this to a peaceful protest should be sitting in our parliament. Well, It depends what you mean by peaceful, I suppose. If your gate crashing is that necessarily peaceful, and if he's leaving them, what do you say, a male MP marching a woman out of a room by her neck, well, it's the scruff of her collar, essentially, like you do with dogs. Just so that they can't really move. You're firm but fair, you increase the pressure if they start to do something that they shouldn't be doing. It's like you learn in jiu-jitsu, it's the same sort of hold. You hold them, then you put more pressure if they're trying to hurt you more, until they tap out, at which point, you let them go, and it's fair enough. Conservative MP Johnny Mercer defended Mr. Filtering honestly, try being in our shoes in the current environment. Yep, he panicked, he's not trained in restraint and arrest. Oh, you should be. You really should be. I think everyone should be. Do some self-defense. And if you think this is serious violence, you may need to recalibrate your sensitivities. That's a great phrase. If someone gets annoyed, you say, hey, recalibrate your sensitivities. Calm down, move on, and be thankful this wasn't worse. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that loss, but thankfully it wasn't worse. Which way are you going with that? Fellow Tory MP Peter Bottomley, such a Tory name, said attacks on MPs and their staff meant that such protests could not be ignored. Not intervening often has a cost, and if this becomes a fashion, there will be casualties. And that's what I've always said about hijackings, for example, that they're less likely to happen if the would-be terrorist knows that the ordinary denizens are going to stop them. Or any terrorist plot, that if they know that people are going to tackle them, restrain them straight away, then they're going to be less likely to do it. Because it's not a thing of, oh, where can we go where the police will take a while to respond, but we can't go anywhere because people are right there. It's the same thing with the Russians or Japanese thinking of invading America. It's like, hey, they're all armed, so this is a fucking stupid idea, because it's not as if we can go to a quiet place before the army gets there, but everyone is armed. In order to get through them all, it's going to take ages, and it's going to be incredibly difficult. It's the same sort of thing, which is all the more reason to value the individual. There was no security present, and I was for a split second genuinely worried she might have been armed. As a result, I grasped the intruder firmly in order to remove her from the room as swiftly as possible. Firm but fair. He added, I deeply regret this episode and unreservedly apologised to the lady concerned for grabbing her, but in the current climate I felt the need to act decisively to close down the threat of the safety to those present. Fair enough. Mr. Field added he would refer himself to the Cabinet Office and fully cooperated with this investigation into whether he had broken the ministerial code. I would be very intrigued as to know what he was supposed to do in that incident, because no one seems to say it. Just, oh, we did was wrong. Like, what should I do? We did was wrong. Yeah, okay, cool, but what should have happened? We did was wrong. So this is the security's job. There wasn't any. Then let her do whatever. She's a woman after all. Anyway, let me know what you guys think below. Was it an overreaction? What would you have done in that situation? Was he firm but fair, or was he rough? Did he do too much? Did he not do enough? Should she have been made an example of, and he should have dragged her out instead? If she's smirking, does that mean he hasn't done enough? What do you guys think? Let me know down below, and I will see you next time. Have a lovely day and a lovely weekend.